Android version, and it seems like they're actually very close on finishing their own software, which could be called as Arc OS. This is going to be a true Android version replacement. Now the name is not finalized. It might be called as Arc OS, it might be called as Oak OS. We have these patent images from March of 2019, which is actually 2 months before the ban was announced, and these are the exclusive screenshots that shows us a first look of what Arc OS could be. It looks different from Huawei's current software look. It's kind of like a mix of iOS and EMUI, but it is actually based on Android. You can read the word Android Green Alliance. This is a group based of Chinese manufacturers like Alibaba, Tencent, etc. And it pretty much confirms that Arc OS is still based on Android, which is going to be the open source version of Android. It's a good news because it will be able to run all the apps which you currently have on your Android phone just without Google services. As for the Play Store, Huawei is in talks with Aptoide to be the Play Store replacement. They've also been doing some other moves regarding that. All the apps will be made available just like you have on a normal Android phone, just no Google. So again, no Google support, which is why the question still remains on software updates being slow because it is the open source version of Android after all. Now looking at all this, Google has spoken to US. They're actually scared that this might cause even bigger problems for them in the future. According to the report by Financial Times, Google is asking Trump administration that US should still take business with Huawei because if Huawei comes out with its hybrid Android version, aka Oak OS or Arc OS, without Google services and Play Protect, which basically scans your phone for potential viruses and hacking, without all of that, it will be an easy target for hackers to hack it, and ultimately it's going to be a threat to the US. These Huawei phones with the forked Android version will be sold globally, so the risk is massive, and if someone in US uses this Huawei phone with hybrid Android version, it could open a door of hacking. No matter how secure it is, there's still a chance of it getting hacked because this is not from Google. So Google, knowing what they know, they think that this won't be secure and it's not going to be the best thing to do, which is the ban on Huawei from US, which is why they are asking for US to continue the business with Huawei or else everyone will lose. Google knows how big Huawei is. They are the top seller. There's no way they can just disappear, which is why they are trying to convince the Trump administration to reevaluate things. And it's best for everyone because if the ban continues, US companies will lose millions for not doing business with Huawei. So something has to be done or else we will see the birth of Arc OS. Now, as I said, Huawei has stockpiled some chips, but what about the future? For the future chips, Huawei could depend on a new company called as Sci-Fi. They could be a future challenge to ARM. They have their RISC-V architecture for custom chips. They say they can design custom CPUs in weeks of time, which is much faster than ARM, which is why companies like Samsung and Intel are reinvesting their money into this. This could actually be a really good thing for Huawei if the ban continues. You know, they can choose their architecture, the RISC-V architecture, for future Kirin processors. It's going to be a tough task, especially with no GPU. Huawei can't use ARM Melee GPU, so they'll have to find a new GPU as well. If the ban really goes all the way, then for the future, Huawei can depend on the Sci-Fi option. Do keep in mind that Huawei's license will expire on August the 19th, and before that something has to happen. If not, there will be no Android updates for future Huawei phones from Google. Whatever that is running right now, it will stay like that. So if you have a P30 Pro, chances are you won't get Android Q. Instead, Huawei will bring its Arc OS to the table for the existing phones as well, so you should be able to upgrade to that. It's very complicated at this point to say what's really gonna happen, but from the looks of it, Huawei is definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. Their quest to be the #1 smartphone seller is still on. They'll fight back with everything they can